I think I lost an organ doing that. I'm back. You probably didn't miss me. This time, I'm doing movies. You know Sharknado? Well, the studio behind it does more than just post Sharknado movies. Shockingly. They have hit classics like Atlantic Rim, Transmorphers, and I Am Legend. Sorry, I Am Omega. If you haven't noticed, those movies sound eerily similar to pretty big hit movies. Asylum, the studio behind it, is known for making such movies. They make mockbusters. It's a kind of movie that you piggyback off of other bigger, well-known ones. It never goes into theaters. Instead, they will home release movies or DVDs, stream it, send it on TV. Most of the movies they do are made to be low-budget productions, and the studio's reported never losing a profit. Let's say they take a movie like Morbius, that already amazing movie, and they say something called like The Vampire Doctor, and they will make the movie similar in story events and have similar character names, so you think it's the movie, but it's not. The movie I'm going to be watching is called Pirates of Treasure Island, a movie that at the time was a huge ripoff of Pirates of the Caribbean. It released really close to Pirates of the Caribbean. It also follows the other movie, Treasure Island, so it's a double ripoff. You're going another ripoff level deep. Oh god. On IMDb, it has a 2.3 rating out of 10. I don't know how good you are with numbers. I don't know, I'm dumb. I could be dumb at times. But that's low. One notable actor in this movie is Tom Nagel. For those who don't know, that's the Man of Steel. He played Superman. The synopsis reads, the life of lowly innkeeper Jim Hawkins changes dramatically when he comes into possession of a treasure map. He goes on a quest to hunt for treasure on a cursed island alongside John Silver. Some notable characters would be John Silver, antagonist of the movie. He's a pirate who wants to get the treasure he lost so long ago. You got Jim Hawkins, a bartender who wishes to sail the seas. He's the main character. You got Anne. She has a little crush on him. She wants Jim to go behind the slide at recess so she can say she has a crush on him. Oh, it's bad. You got Livesley, a doctor. Jim's best friend, loves talking to ladies, and is pretty useless. He doesn't do much. You got Smollett. He's French, and he rents out a ship. Basically, he's helping navigate and use the ship. We begin with pirates on an island holding a treasure. As they are holding and carting in the treasure, the captain of the pirates is about to be killed and replaced by one John Silver. It's established that a curse is on this island.
There's the stench of a curse on this island.
And in response to saying he smells a curse, this man says,
farts, blood, and cheese, Billy.
The rebellion takes place, and John Silver is now the new captain of said pirates. Right after that coup is done, you got another one, literally like 2 minutes apart, by one Billy. Billy's rebellion was and Billy gets shot. The noise of the fighting attracts giant beetles. So the giant beetle comes out and starts attacking all the pirates and makes the crew run away. Cut to a tavern in the year of 1782 in the United States. We're introduced to the main character, Jim Hawkins, f***ing Superman, in a drinking competition with a pirate. Oh, Jim wants to be a pirate and sail the seas, but just has no reason. And comes out and talks to Jim, yada yada yada. And then the pirate says she looks eerily familiar. Another pirate and a blind guy come into the tavern and fight over a treasure map of Skeleton Island. The blind guy gets shot while fighting over the map, and the other guy dies from, I don't know, sickness. He kind of just keels over and leaves Jim an amulet. Jim reports the incident that happened in the bar to one Smug McGee. That's not his name. Smug McGee is a Navy man and is suspicious of Jim. They ask Jim if he wants to sail out and become a pirate or some stuff like that. And Jim goes, no. And they don't trust him. Jim then goes to Lively's house. Lively, the doctor, and Jim discuss the incident and the amulet Jim found. The amulet pops open and reveals a map that shows a treasure worth tons of money. What do you think now? Do they A, report it to the Navy because that's the smart thing to do, and if you were to be smart, you would report it to the Navy because there's way less trouble if you just report it to the Navy. B, they use the map to find the treasure, or C, they kiss. Okay, obviously it was B. They decide to go find the treasure. They plan to get a crew, and they disguise what they're doing under the guise of an etymology expedition. They said they're gonna find bugs. They're gonna find the creepy qualities up in there. Then they go to Smoyet and rent a ship on this bug expedition. Once they finally rent the ship, they go to Barbecue. It's just John Silver. They showed him up to John Silver, and he now knows where to go. So basically, he's going to try and get back the treasure he lost all those years ago. Jim doesn't know this, of course, and agrees to take Barbecue and his crew on the ship for help. Jim leaves to tell Anne, and she's like, no, don't go. She just spouts telling him to not go. She also says to not believe in pirates because all they do is lie and cheat. Jim asks how does she know this? Well, and she's like, I know. So my prediction at this point in the movie is that Anne is a pirate. I mean, it feels really easy to say that. Anyways, on to sailing. They board the ship. Barbecue is the chef of the ship, and Smoyet and him don't like each other. Smoyet calls him a little piggy.
Monsieur, Barbecue. Should I call you Piggy?
Smoyet brings in ladies to help with all the travel and all that, and Lively decides he's gonna get a little rizzy with them. He tries to woo the ladies. Lively does not do much. The Navy walks on board, and they're kind of like, we need one Navy man on this. There's pirates on this sea, you know? They take the guy who Jim already talked to when he reported the incident about the pirates. They set sail. And Jim is most definitely not used to the sea. His legs aren't wet. Jim isn't used to the sea once they sail, and he barfs. Like a lot. Cut a little bit into the future, and Jim is practicing sword fighting with a Navy man. He sucks ass. The pirate crew of Captain Silver meet up below deck and discuss what they're gonna do soon to get all the treasure. Jim, of course, hears this and decides to duck for cover. Yet Jim sucks at this, and he just fumbles something onto the ground. Obviously he got caught, and they tell him to like join them and they'll split the treasure with him and not actually steal it from him. Before he says he will join the pirates, Anne pops up, and of course Anne is a pirate, and she tells him to not lay a finger on her man. Don't lay a finger on that Jimmy boy.
As long as I'm standing, no one will lay a hand on him.
Oh, Jimmy boy. It is decided that Anne, Jim, and the pirate crew will split the treasure. Sure. Jim is finally more accustomed to the sailing life, and Captain Silver decides to give him a pistol and an ear piercing with, like, a rusty nail. A storm happens while they're really close to the island. They're about to make it, and one of the best lines pops up. You know, one of these good one-liners that every bad movie has.
Benjamin Franklin says, you got nothing to fear unless you got a rod sticking out your ass.
The storm ends and they reach the island. While planning on what to do, they hear a ruckus, a rabble-rousing, and they decide to investigate what it is. Up on the upper deck, the pirate crew is finally rebelling and trying to take over all the ship. Captain Silver successfully takes over the ship. I never mentioned this, and it's put in like 2 parts of the movie, but do you want to guess what also Captain Silver goes by? He's also known as Long John Silver. He's named the most mid-fast food place ever. I feel like you could have had such a better fast food place. Who goes to Long John Silver's, though? Who goes, I'm thinking fast food. Time to get Sylvies. Let's get the Sylvs. Let's go to Long John Silver. Yeah, that sounds yummy. Captain Silver takes Smoyet's jacket, and no joke, for like 3 cutbacks, Smoyet stays in the same position. I don't know if they intended that. I don't know if it was supposed to be funny. They just have it there, like that. Jim decides to join the pirates and gets on the island with them to go look for the treasure in the temple. Lively finally tells Smoyet and the Navy man what they're here for, the treasure, and all reach an agreement to split it. The girls distract the pirates, and the ship is finally won back to Lively in the game. They tie the pirates up in a rope on the mast, like Scooby-Doo would, and leave for the island after the pirates and Jim. Weirdly, you know, after you knocked them all out and all that, they didn't check them for knives, apparently, because one had it. Who doesn't check for knives? These people that pillage, plunder, and steal? Let's not check them for knives. Who would have knives? Those hurt people. And of course, they escape. Back on the island, Captain Silver and his crew set up for the night. You know, so other people can catch up and I don't know, stop them. Lively and the gang catch up, and they finally leave the camp. Like, they had to wait until they heard them to, like, go, maybe we should leave. The gang catches up, and there's gonna be a, I think you know, a pirate fight. A really slow pirate fight. None of these fights are fast. During the pirate fight, Captain Silver decides to kiss Anne for some reason. I don't know why he did it. He just did it. Boys will be boys. Lively gets shot, and Jim has the most underwhelming reaction. This man is your best friend, and your best reaction is to not, like, scream or go to comfort them while they die. It's astoundingly bad acting. Those beetle monsters hear the noises and starts to come in and attack them. And of course, what do you do when there's beetle monsters? You run away. Duh. Back in the sea, the pirates take back the ship, and you get to see the most beautiful man in this movie.
Hello, pretty.
That guy's hot. While all the ruckus is happening, a man comes and saves Jim and all the crew. The man who saved them was stuck on the island ever since Captain Silver lost his treasure and left the island. He's been stuck there for 2 years. He knows where the treasure is, so the map's useless. Throw that away. And at this point in the movie, the Asian girl in it has a katana. And it was supposed to be a big reveal that she was a girl. It was obvious since the beginning. When you saw her in the first scene she was on, you could tell it was a girl. I just didn't pay any mind to it. They make it to the temple. They make it to the temple. And guess what happens immediately after it? Captain Silver shows up again. I bet you already knew that was gonna happen. Why would they just let the antagonist go away? The guy who was stuck on the island tries to kill Long John Silver and dies immediately. I'm talking, he points his gun at him, and it explodes in his face, and he dies.
Unfortunate accident. Won't happen again.
Okay, that man was useless. They had a map, so they didn't really need him to show where they were. They could follow the map. And then he does nothing but shoot and kill himself. That man was useless and incompetent. Jim finally sees Silver as, the antagonist. Did you really need to wait till the end of that? Did you really have to wait until after he killed his friends? There were signs. The Navy man tries to duel Silver with a sword, and I gotta give credit to this man. He pulls the sickest move ever. He goes like this. Captain Silver's crewmate decides to walk up behind him and give the guns to him under his armpits so he can just grab it and shoot him. Jim also gets shot. Not as cool, though. And Annie and that Asian girl start to fight Captain Silver and his crew. Annie, no joke, beheads a man. I'm talking one swift motion. She just chops it off like there's nothing wrong with that. Silver pulls out a third gun, which he has for some reason, and just shoots Anne. Bang! Jim, who is shot, he's bleeding and decides, yeah, I can fight. Jim recovers from being shot, a thing that takes way longer to heal, and decides to fight Silver in a sword fight. Jim is now, for some reason, a master at sword fighting after one training session with a Navy man and beats Silver, a pirate who's been a pirate for ever. Silver, now bested by Jim and about to die, leaves some amazing parting advice.
It takes 26 muscles in your face to frown, and only 5 to smile.
You killed his friend. After he's dead, can you guess what happens? No, you can't. You can't. Try. Tell me what you think happens. Wrong. A skeleton pops up and decides to start attacking people. They all shoot him. They were done with it. They didn't want to even be in this movie. They go back to the ship and take it over, and they had like the biggest girl power moment in the movie by having all the girls completely destroy the crew. Go girl! Go girls! They do leave one guy alive. Sexy McGee mustache lives. As they're leaving, that giant beetle from the beginning of the movie shows up and decides to attack the ship. And Jim, with no prior knowledge of how to handle a cannon, beats Anne and the pirate. She's a pirate. She should know how to shoot a cannon. He somehow outshoots Anne with a cannon that he'd never learned how to shoot. They return with a crazy amount of riches, and Jim and his new crew turn into privateers and a small bit of pirating on the side. What did I think about the movie? It was good. It was as good as a low-budget film could be good. Some of the acting was bad. Actually, a good chunk of the acting was bad, but you can't give them too much. They're on a rush schedule, and they look for low-quality, high production rate. So you can't really hold it a candle to others, but for what it was still pretty good. Some of the jokes didn't hit, but when they did, I genuinely found myself laughing. I mean, was it a Pirates of the Caribbean clone? Yeah, I don't know. After this movie watching, I think I'm getting a little bit into being a pirate. I'm in the pirate mood. Let me see what I can find. Yeah, this doesn't look like a pirate.